special randomites. It's nice to be here again with you. I hope I haven't kept you all so long, without the content. I've been so busy, life happens. But anyway, I'm glad to be with you. Welcome to my new viewers. I hope I will be of very much use to you. Welcome. Thanks for sharing and liking and commenting in advance because I know that you're going to enjoy a lot of our content here. So you're very much welcome. And to my regular viewers, I'm really appreciative of you for always coming back. So what will we be talking about today? We'll talk about encouragement. We're going to be talking about encouragement today. And before we go so deep into it, what do we really know as encouragement? Some people would say we can also refer to it as motivation, to inspire, to enlighten, to cheer up, to uplift. And for some others, they would say it is to ginger your neighbor, like someone said. I also saw somewhere where someone said that it can be seen as verbal sunshine. And I really keyed into that because truth be told, you could be at your lowest point, you could be very down, you could be in low spirits, and it just takes that one comment from that one person, and before you know what's happening, it turns everything around for you. So yes, encouragement could also be referred to as verbal sunshine. Regardless of what we actually know, we get to be encouraged through different means. It's all over the place today. You turn around and you find motivational quotes everywhere. You hear someone telling you something positive. You see different people, both men of God, non-clergy people. They're using different forms to spread encouragement all around the place. Even through social media, through the word of God, by popular sayings from popular people such as Nelson Mandela, Denzel Washington, even Martin Luther King. Like they use these means to get a lot of things done, to inspire others. These are the reasons why even years after they have died, people still remember them. It goes far back as even at home. A lot of times you remember that wonderful uncle, that lovely aunt, that parents who were able to, push you or who were able to help you become who you are today, even years after they have left us in this world. We can remember them not just because of their mannerisms or the things that they used to do that they no longer do in your presence, but also because of that key thing that they said to you at one point or the other. So yes, it's actually something that I can boldly say that everyone has experienced at one point or the other. But I decided to talk about encouragement today because it's one thing to encourage people passively. It's another thing to be intentional about it. It's another thing to be specific about encouraging others. And that is where we are lacking. We are lacking in being intentional about encouraging our neighbor, our brother, our sisters, our friends. We don't do that anymore. We leave it all to social media, which is not such a good thing. At least for Christians, we have a source of encouragement, which is the word of God. It's so many, whenever you turn any page of the Bible, there's usually one thing or the other. There's always God telling you about, how you should be confident, be courageous, tells you do not be afraid, I am with you. There are so many ways in which, one can get encouraged, especially Christians. But what about that non-Christian brother? What about that non-Christian sister? What about that person, that orphan, who has nobody to actually, encourage them? So that's where we come into picture. What about even at your workplace? There's so many people of different categories, different walks of life, and putting a smile on someone's face intentionally can go a long way for that person without you knowing. Why should we do this from time to time? There are so many things we're going to talk about today. So I'm going to give you 10 points, 10 effects of encouragement. The first would be that encouragement or words of encouragement can last a lifetime. This is something that Glennie Burks said. It can last a lifetime, and that's why even after these people are not there, you remember what they have said. Sometimes you want to live by what they have said because of the impact it makes for that person. They will never forget you. Is it not better that someone doesn't forget you because of something positive you said to the person or a positive impact you had on the person as compared to that negative word that you would have spoken to that person? So yes, encouragement or words of encouragement actually leave a lifetime effect. So that's one of the things. The second one would be that this was said by Rolf Carwan and Chantel Jones in different ways, of course. They both said that it is a sound that releases potential. It is a sound that releases potential. And this is one thing that a lot of young people get to, especially children who are opportune to be born in homes or families that have good support system, or they get good support system from their parents or their siblings. African parents have a gift of either breaking you or motivating you. It's either of two ways. Sometimes that motivation that might be negative would end up having a positive feedback. This is what I'm trying to say. A lot of times, we want our children, or parents want their children to excel. They want them to be successful and all of that. But Sometimes we just don't know the right way to go about it. And they might say negative things like, oh, look at that, look at Joshua. Joshua is doing better than you. Joshua scored better than you. If you score better in your test next time, I would buy you this, or I will give you a car, or I'll give you a toy bicycle, and things like that. In as much as the pattern with which the parent went about it was negative by comparing you to yet another child and that child's strengths, what they aimed at doing was actually to encourage you to do better in your test next time. So this is what I'm trying to say, that whether or not it's positive or negative, for what I'm trying to say here, I'm trying to say that you should take the positive route, of course. But if you are the type of person that tend to encourage the next person, not just your children or your family members, but even at your place of work, you see someone slacking and you try to encourage them by saying, do you know what, I actually believe you can do better in this particular place. If you go like this or you go like that, you might actually do better. And sometimes I actually had this scenario where I've had scenarios or circumstances where someone thought they couldn't do something. They couldn't do it. Oh, you do so well in this thing. I, for one, I would never be able to achieve this. I'll never be able to do this thing that you did, because they will give you 1, 2, 3, or 4 reasons. But to me, anybody could have achieved what I've achieved, or anybody could have done this thing that I've done. I think this person just needed a little push, or just needed a little bit of encouragement, and that was all it took. And really, they ended up doing the things I was doing, and even did better than I did. So that's just an example of this second point. It unlocks, or it releases a sound that releases potential, things that person thought they could never achieve forever and ever. They just needed that one person that was going to encourage them and tell them that they could do it, and that was all it took, and they would achieve or potential things that they never knew that they could do, will start coming out. The third point I have is that, it speaks into the life of a person. When you're encouraging someone, because our tongue has, the words that come out from our tongue, or our tongue has power. When you start telling somebody, oh, you can do this, you can do that, you can do this, when you're speaking positivity into that person and encouraging the person, you're speaking life into that person. And I can say that this works very well in among spouses. I don't want to always use families as children, parents, relationship, no, but I also want to, let you know that this encouragement of the thing, it works for everybody, every class, every form of relationship. So if you're a husband or a wife and you see your partner, deficient in an area, it's better for you to speak encouraging words, not just because it would release those potentials, but also because you invariably bless this person, you invariably speak life, you invariably speak positivity into that person, and shortly after you will see them acting that way or doing those things that you think or you saw that they were deficient in. They just needed you to encourage them. Say, for example, a wife that's doesn't feel beautiful at some point, maybe after childbirth. She doesn't feel beautiful anymore. She feels like her shape has changed a lot. She feels like she's not the way she used to be. So what that does to a woman, or what that does to anybody, is that you lose the zeal or the desire to actually look good, to put in the extra effort to look good. But then when your significant other is able to look at you and tell you, oh, you look beautiful, you look this, you look that, it gives you the motivation to want to be and live that picture that the person is saying or speaking of you. And before you know what's happening, you're bringing out all of those things, you're making extra effort, you see yourself, I bought this today, I changed my hair, baby, I changed my hair, do I look good? And the person will say, oh yes, you look very good, this suits you so well. Of course, she'll want to do more, she'll want to look better, she'll want to, put on that nice dress, she'll want to go shopping and look extra, just so that all of the things you're saying is evident to her as well, and not just you. So yes, it speaks life into the other person. The fourth point will be that it brings someone out of their lows. It elevates one's spirits. There is nothing better than someone, not just someone, even you can encourage yourself, but there's nothing better than coming out of a very low point. At every stage in our life, every day of our life, we go through things, we experience things that at some point discourages us. No matter how hard you try, you always get to that point where it seems so difficult. For example, you're a type of person or you're someone who has been taking an exam, a particular exam. You've been writing this exam and you're not getting good grades in that exam. You keep failing. Say you have a task, something you use in practicing, you're preparing for the next exam coming. A lot of times you just don't, in fact, it gets to a point where you don't even want to take that exam anymore, because you're not seeing anything to motivate you, you're not seeing anything that is going to, encourage you to go ahead. You can easily, and you're taking your practice, you're practicing your test, and you keep saying that you're getting low scores. You would not be really encouraged to go and take the next exam, because you're not getting good grades. But just do another practice test and get a very good score. You'll see how energetic you'll feel. You'll be so happy. You'll feel, there'll be a lot of positivity in you. You'll be encouraged and inspired for the next exam. And you see yourself happy. You just be happy. And happiness is kind of infectious. So you tend to infect everyone around you with that happiness. Everyone is happy, and then you all get more productive. So yes, it does bring someone out of the low moods. Okay? My next point will be, I think I once said this one. So I wrote something down here. I said, for parents who encourage their children, the children do their best so they do not disappoint you, and then this irreversibly conforms their lives to always want to do better. This was what I said. So I want to give an example of my own life. I remember growing up, my dad used to say that the best way to love a child, no, the best way to train a child is to love that child. Yes. And I always try to understand what he meant, because to me, I mean, almost every parent love their children. So what does it even mean by saying the best way to train a child is to love the child? So yeah, he basically instill that knowledge, or that awareness that the best way to train a child is to love the child. So this was what happened to me one time that made me realize what he meant by that statement. So I was in a boarding school, and something happened. You know how there's always trouble in the boarding school. There's always one senior bullying one junior, or classmates being, rude to each other, and their fights and all that, quarrels and all. So I was unfortunately in one situation, and I found that I deliberately refused to react. I deliberately didn't respond. I deliberately didn't react because I didn't want it to progress further. And it had absolutely nothing to do with me as an individual. It was not because I couldn't fight. I knew I could throw a punch or two. I can. I have all the abilities in me, but I just refused to do it because I tried to project into the nearest future. I mean, in like 2 days or a week from now, if this escalates, who are they going to call? If they decide they wanted to suspend me, who are they going to call? They're going to call Ori, they're going to call my dad, or they're going to call my mom. You see, I did not like that situation. I did not want my father's name to be associated with any form of embarrassment. I didn't want his name to be associated with anything negative, and I did not want to be the source of anything negative for him. Then it made sense to me. It was because of the kind of love this man has showed to me. I just don't want to bring him any form of shame. I just don't want to give him any form of headache. If he was going to get reports about me, then they should be good ones. If he was going to hear anything about his child, it should be that she won a prize or she got an award for something, that his name is associated to, things of pride rather than things of embarrassment. And then that was when I finally understood that statement. So in the long run, it conformed my life. I saw that I was deliberately avoiding some things. I refused to associate myself with some people. I refused to be gathering with the wrong crowd or moving with the wrong crowd. And this was not just because I did not have it in me. I mean, everybody has a little bit of bad in them. But it was because of where I was coming from and what I wanted to take back home. Yeah, so that is it. If you are the kind of parent that tend to encourage their children in different ways, because I told you there are different ways to encourage a child or encourage people. If you're the kind of parent that can do that, then you would end up conforming or helping to conform your child's life or conform the other person's life to do things in a different way, to do things in a more positive way. My other point would be that encouraging young people builds a better society. Now, this can be looked at as very simple, but it is not simple. There's an increased rate of suicides nowadays that everybody's aware of. People are killing themselves, things are happening, they're attempting to kill themselves, people are having depression, going through different sorts of things. And this then leads them to do a lot of bad things. Those that don't have money, if you want to say poverty now, maybe they've been trying so hard. You see a graduate that did so well in school, came out, have good grades, have everything, all the skill set, everything to excel, and yet they're struggling to get a job, and they've been doing that or struggling with that for such a long time. Still, they're not having a job. It gets to a point where they become depressed, get discouraged. They don't want to go through the legal means anymore. That's why I see that there's a high rise of fraudulent behaviors in our society today. If not that, crime rate is going up, cost of living is increasing. It's just a whole circle of harm rather than good. And this is the reason why a lot of mishaps happen in our society today. But it just takes a little bit of encouragement sometimes. It takes a little bit of encouragement. It's not just words. It's not only to tell the person that, don't worry, keep trying, you're going to get a job. No. Sometimes it's taking an extra step or making an extra effort to actually help them to get a job. That's encouragement. Because people find it easier to cope with how do I put this now? Okay, people would do better if they see that they're not handling a problem on their own, that they actually have support. They would do better if they feel like this person is with me, even if it's just prayers that you're helping them to pray, or you're sending them this the word of God each day, or you're asking them about how far they've gone, or you're able to ask them, like, you show concern. That's already encouragement. But when they feel like they're alone in their struggles, they will easily be discouraged. So yes, that's one of the ways you can encourage a person. It's not just with your words, sometimes with your actions. Sometimes you can decide to give them a little, financial assistance from time to time till they get on their feet. So these are ways of encouragement. If you do that, you will be helping the society one way or the other. Okay, and who knows, saving even yourself from maybe a robbery crime. The next point I have is that, and this one I would say is one of the major effects of encouragement. It is that encouragement is a powerful ingredient to success. It's a powerful ingredient to success. And the thing is, it's quick. The person who has to encourage themselves each day, motivate themselves each day, over time will get exhausted doing it, right? But the truth is, the more you encourage a person, the more they want to put into that thing, the more they want to feed that thing, the more they want to, do better. And they will arrive at where they are going to faster than the person who is on their own with no form of encouragement. That's the truth. So encouragement is a powerful ingredient to success in the long run. Okay, so these are the 3 points. I think I've said it before somehow, but it says that it warms the heart. Remember when I said something about elevating your mood or lifting up your mood, brings you out of low mood? It's kind of the same thing. It warms the heart. It gives you a fuzzy feeling inside that somebody from nowhere could relate to your problem and could say something to you, was able to give you strength to go through another one whole week of that same stress or that same difficulty. So yes, it warms the heart. Another thing it does is that it gives hope. It gives hope to you. If you check some of the passages in the Bible, like John 16:33 or Isaiah 41 verse 10 or Joshua 1 verse 9, it actually showed us there that even God himself was encouraging his people, telling them, don't worry, don't be afraid, I'm with you. Okay, don't be afraid, be confident, I will save you, I will do this, I will do that. He was not just doing that, he was encouraging us, reassuring us. So if God could do it, how much more we? So yes, it gives us hope. It gives you hope that you can face another day. It gives you hope that you can do anything. Just this morning I was having, in fact, my spirit, my mood, everything dropped because I was thinking of should I say, a problem, in quotes, that I had, or I was foreseeing a problem that I had to handle. But then when I had to speak a word out, I said, oh, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And at the moment I said that, I actually felt at peace. I realized I could really do anything I want to do through Christ that strengthens me. So yes, I have to encourage myself using the word of God, and that was all I needed. So yes, I have hope that when I get to that point, I will be able to handle it, and I will not even realize, if I won't feel the stress or the burden of that issue. I would go through it smoothly because I tapped from the source of encouragement, or from the well of encouragement. And then lastly, apparently this one, I've said it before, so I don't need to repeat it again. Now, I think I've done a lot. I've really expatiated on this topic. I've said a lot concerning encouragement. And the sweetest part of it is that it really costs nothing. It costs nothing to encourage your neighbor. It costs nothing to be a source of encouragement to that little one that's looking up to you, to that neighbor, to that colleague, to that friend, to that subordinate. It really costs nothing to do all of that, or to be all of that for somebody. So I will leave us with this, that make it a point of duty. Try to encourage somebody. At every point you'll find yourself in a position where you can actually do that for someone. Please be conscious of it. Let's be conscious of it. Let's make a better world. Let's create a better society. Let's create a better environment by encouraging our neighbor, encouraging our friends, and any other person that needs it. Thanks for tuning in to Just Random with Ori. I hope you like this video. Comment, tell us one way or the other that somebody has encouraged you and what it did for you even till now in your life. Also, share this video, let everyone see this content and help them and remind them that encouragement is quite vital for us today. Thanks for always tuning in. I'll see you in my next segment. Have a wonderful day.